Yes, our today's topic is Ukraine issue, very burning issue nowadays, Russia in Ukraine. As you will be hearing, you will be listening, you will be reading in print media, electronic media, social media, there are several reasons being given by Ukraine, by Russia again for this act of military operation against Ukraine. So more or less I will also discuss those reasons, but make sure that there will be the explanations that will be totally different what you heard earlier. My explanation, my analysis will be totally different. So first of all, first reason was that is given by Russia for this act is NATO expansionism is the first reason. NATO expansionism towards East. Second reason given by Russia that Ukraine intended to become member of NATO. Third reason, Russia took it a security concern for its geostrategic position. Next reason Russia gave for its act of military operation is that it is going to assist to Donbass region. And the last reason, which I will discuss, is that Russia tried to stop 8 years long bloodshed in Ukraine that was going on there. So with these reasons, we will discuss these reasons with new and very different analysis with historical as well as the current scenario and different analysis. I will put it in this lecture. So after that, I will tell you, in this scenario, there's a new world order being emerged on world chess. So you have to be constantly listen my lecture. So continue my lecture listening. You will find very good material for your CSS exam and for other competitive exams or political science, students of political science and international relations, and those who take interest in the world politics. So after that, I will conclude my lecture while giving some recommendations or I will some prediction regarding the war, what will happen after war or what will be the end result of this war. So let's start with our first reason, that is NATO expansionism. What is NATO? As you all know, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that's a defense organization. It established in 1949. Its original members were 12 countries, and now it has enlarged itself in members. Now its members are almost 30 members. Russia fears NATO expansionism towards East, and I would like to here tell you that USSR, United Soviet Socialist Republic, were member countries of that USSR before 1991. That were Ukraine, Georgia, Belarus, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania. These were the 15 members of Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. But that became independent countries after 1991 fall of USSR. They declared themselves an independent countries. So we see that how NATO expanded itself. NATO had certain waves. You can say the first wave that emerged was in 1999 when Poland, who was earlier the member of Warsaw Pact. Warsaw Pact was the defense initiative that was taken by USSR in Cold War era. That Poland, the Warsaw member, became NATO member in 1999. That was the first wave. In second wave, USSR's two republics that became independent after 1991, Lithuania and Estonia, became into NATO members in 2004. This expansionism continued, and NATO, established by 12 members, now have 30 members in its fold. So this expansionism was the thing which cannot be ignored by Russia. This is a moot point now, whether the crisis could have been averted if America and its allies had been responsive to Russia's security concerns in US-Russia talks in January and earlier. Would an offer of moratorium on Ukraine's NATO membership have satisfied Moscow? Several Western analysts have suggested in the past and now that Washington will make a big mistake if it expanded eastward and if it tried to expand NATO eastward. To quote, expanding NATO would be the most fateful error of American policy in the entire world Cold War era. These are the comments that was made by the former US ambassador to Moscow and a seasoned diplomat, George F. Kennan, who wrote in New York Times 25 years ago. He says, such a decision may be expected to influence the nationalistic, anti-Western and militaristic tendencies in Russian opinion, to have an adverse effect on the development of Russian democracy and to impel Russians' foreign policy in directions decidedly not to our liking. That if America pushed NATO or America supported NATO to expand itself freely, so then the situation will arise which will not be in favor of America. So this is the NATO expansionism. That's the first reason that is given by Russia that made the reason for justification for entering Ukraine in a military position. Then next is Ukraine intend to become the member of NATO. This was the issue that Ukraine Russia take it very seriously because relations between Ukraine and NATO started in 1992. Ukraine applied to begin a NATO membership action plan in 2008, but this plan was shelved by Ukraine in 2010 when newly elected President Mr. Viktor preferred to keep the country non-aligned. Amid the Euro-Maidan unrest that was done in 2014 and afterward there was no rest in Ukraine and the Donbas region, Mr. Viktor, President of Ukraine, fled the country and the newly elected government later on showed its preference for NATO membership. So we see that since 2017 polls show that about 69% Ukrainians want to join NATO compared to 28% support in 2012 when President Viktor was in power. This Russia action has raised fear in other European countries, though there is no doubt, because people of Finland has passed a resolution to go for NATO membership. And dear students, you must know that in Finland, this is a public initiative. If public initiate a resolution with 50% vote, that resolution is going to be discussed in the Parliament of Finland. And Parliament of Finland, if approves this and Finland gets NATO membership, then it will be the largest Russia and EU member states with a share of 1,300 kilometer land border with Russia. That's a civil initiative. So Russian act of military action in Ukraine have alert other smaller nations, smaller countries to join NATO membership. This is the drawback of this act. So this is the security, Ukraine's intention to become the member of NATO. So third reason, which I was telling that third reason is Russia's security concern. Russia, all these developments that was going on, alert Russia that its geostrategic position and its political position is being challenged on the world score. So as you see, the same situation that you must know that Cuba crisis in political history. There was a time in 1962 when Russia placed missiles in Cuba, and Cuba is considered as the backyard of America. And when Russia placed missiles in 1962 in Cuba, at that time both superpowers seemed that they were just going to start the Third World War. So it was very critically taken by USA at that time. So same situation here. I am just viewing it that how USA reacted when Russia placed missiles in Cuba in the backyard of America. Similarly, if Russia is saying that Ukraine is very critical for the security reason of for security purpose of Russia. So gathering and collection of collection of military equipments and missiles and Ukraine's intention to get the nuclear power. So all these things have alerted Russia, and he will not allow anyone to make its region threatening. So there is another thing which is very much on social media and other media. We listen that Russia want to demilitarize and denazify the area. What is this? Ukraine, because it is said that Ukraine in its military regiment have one group, namely Azov, A-Z-O-V, Azov, who have feelings and who have a movement or enthusiastic feelings as such as Nazism. So this is why Russia is saying that he started this military action to demilitarize and denazify the area. So this is the security concern for for Russia. So he initiated this act of war. Then he says that to stop, another reason that is given by him to stop last 8 years of civil war in Donbas region. Russian President Vladimir Putin has announced that he ordered his country's military to conduct a special operation in the Donbas region after the leaders of breakaway republics asked Moscow for military assistance in response to what they claim is an increase in Ukraine aggression. And now what Putin has written in its order that says, circumstances require us to take decisive and immediate action. The People's Republics of Donbas, in accordance with Article 51, Part 7 of United Nations Charter, with the sanction of the Federation Council and in pursuance of the friendship treaties ratified by the Federal Assembly and mutual assistance with the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, I have decided to conduct a special military operation. This is the reference, and these are the words that is written on Russia's President Vladimir Putin order while initiating the military operation. So now the question is, what is Article 51 of Part 7 of United Nations Charter, and how this article is supporting President Putin's stance, President Putin action. So I will see what is this Article 51 Part 7. It says, nothing in the present charter shall impair the inherent right of individual or collective self-defense if an armed attack occurs against a member of the United Nations until the Security Council has taken measures necessary to maintain international peace and security. But measures taken in self-defense must be brought into notice of the Security Council of United Nations, and this not affect the authority and responsibility of the Security Council. These are the words that is written in Article 51, Part 7 of the United Nations Charter. Now the question is how President Putin's action is justified under this article. Here it is discussed, it is said that any aggressive attack against the member of a United Nation will be considered attack on other states, and self-defense you can take the action. But I would ask whether Donetsk and Lugansk, newly republics of Ukraine that have separated from Ukraine, are the member of United Nations. So how Putin is taking strength from this article while initiating its action? Because Ukraine was the member of United Nations. Its region was not that one. Now they are separated from Ukraine. So, and that are acknowledged and recognized by Russia only, not the United Nations, not by the world now. So this is the fourth reason that is given by Russia in its support of militarily action. So what Russia further says that it has saved the world from a very fatal war that would have been happened between America and Russia, because for the last 8 years, Ukraine making aggressive actions towards Donetsk and Lugansk and of Donbass region, where the most of the Russians populations inhabit there. So it is in accordance with the Republic's request, because they call Mayday, and we raise that assistance in response to what they claim is an increase in Ukraine aggression. So, a new world order is going to emerge. A new world order is going to emerge. As you know, that after Russia's intervention in Ukraine, a move to stop Russia, to make Russia cease war on Ukraine, failed in United Nations Security Council, when China and India jointly abstained from voting, and Russia, being permanent member, vetoed the move. This rendering an international body helpless to save a country from war. It shows Russia's stand should have been understood by West, US and NATO allies. United Nations Secretary General remarked, "We will not give up our efforts. We must give peace another chance. Soldiers need to return to their barracks. Leaders need to return to the path of dialogue and peace." So according to this scenario, a new world order is being emerged. China, Russia, India, and the most above all, UAE, the most major ally of America, it also abstained from voting in United Nations General Assembly as well as in Security Council. So we can say that a new world order is being emerged in this scenario, and under the fresh wave of global realignment, you can say that new fresh wave of global realignment is emerging, where US hegemony, US prominency, US global role is under constant questioning. The West political power is waning, is ending, is diminishing from the political arena. So what I will say that this can be the first one reason can be the Donald Trump era, when America first was the American policy, and another time the Barack Obama. Once there was a question answer session was going on with Barack Obama, and one journalist asked about that. People are saying that now America is going to end, America's global stature is going to finish. But Barack Obama said that it has become a fashion to criticize America, that America is going to end. No, it's not. Because if some powers like China or other multinational nations are emerging on the world scene, that doesn't mean that America is going to end, or America's global role is going to end, because these are the nations which are made by us, and this is the time we will enjoy that time. This is our time and we will enjoy it. These were the positive thoughts at that time given by President Barack Obama, but later on President Donald Trump said it is America first, because they put their own local politics and local issues on the top of the list. So what we see that day by day the popularity and the global role is being challenged of USA. So with this, I would like to place my comment how this war will end. It seems not too early now. It's almost 1 month that war is going on, and there is no progress on the side of dialogue and peace initiatives. War is still going on. So even then, it's almost inappropriate to imagine what Ukraine's future will look like while its present is under military attack now. The worst case scenario is unfolding in front of my eyes. The war is only in its early stages. What is certain is that there will be more casualties, high number of internally and externally displaced people, and a severe economic crisis. Ukraine will need the support of the EU in particular to address the humanitarian and economic crisis consequence of this war. At the end of the war, not certain not certain how many and how much territory Ukraine will still control. Different forms of de facto control of parts of Ukrainian territory are conceivable. You must know as a political term that what is de facto control and what is the de jure control. These are the two political terms. De facto means when an area is under war, that invading country controls certain areas. Initially, that invading country became the de facto ruler or de facto control, and the losing one is the de jure. But de facto, with the passage of time and with initiating the laws and holding its control on that area, stabling their control on the area, it also became the de jure control or de jure sovereign of that area. So we realize that there will be so many de facto control of parts of Ukrainian territory, and how and to what extent Russia face civilians' resistance would affect the Putin's calculations. The war is a high-risk gamble on the part of Putin. The Ukrainians' government and citizens would enhance their alignment with the West, and opportunity for Ukraine to regain the full control of its territory may arise only in the post-Putin era, and this is uncertain when that era will begin. This is all about my side. Thank you very much. Kindly subscribe, like and share on your social media, what you follow on Instagram, Facebook, whatsoever. Share with your friends on websites so maximum students can take benefits of. Thank you very much. With another video, I'll be there.